everybody. Welcome to Coronation Street. By the mid-1970s, I mean, life for some Coronation Street residents, well, it had sadly ended. I mean, Jack Walker died suddenly, leaving Annie on her own after nearly 35 years of marriage. Ken Barlow's wife, Val, well, she'd been tragically electrocuted by a faulty socket in her home. But for the others, well, life goes on. I mean, Billy Walker's running a garage. Elsie, she's married to Alan Howard. Emily Nugent is married to Ernest Bishop. And wedding bells are in the air for Len Fairclough and Rita Littlewood. But to top them all, Albert has proposed to Minnie, much to the surprise of Ina and Ken. Back at the Rovers, Annie rules supreme, ably assisted by barmaids Bet Lynch and Betty Turpin, who moved into the area about 4 years ago with her husband Cyril, a police sergeant. Now, rumours of redevelopment have been circulated in the street for months, and feelings have been running very, very high. When Len Fairclough, he refused to attend a meeting opposed to a redevelopment scheme. He had a brick thrown through his window.
Well, how does it feel, then?
What?
Being master of all you survey again.
I never felt better in my life.
Really? So, will you be putting the announcement in the paper, or shall I?
No, I will.
Oh.
I'll tell you one thing for nothing, though.
What?
It's dead right what they say about fellas.
What did you say?
Very sexy first thing in the morning. Morning.
Morning.
How do you do?
Hey, can I tell him?
Well, what's to tell him? I'm only the fellow who's been and gone and done it.
Well, tell me what?
Guess who got him to ask her to marry him last night?
Well, congratulations, Rita.
Right.
He's the one who's supposed to be
Oh,
congratulated.
yeah, all the
not
best.
me.
Thank you very much. Getting late, huh?
Mind you, it's not before time, in my opinion.
Well, no one asked your opinion, did they?
Well, you got it now, whether you want it or not. Mind you, I think you want your head examining, you know, checking him on.
What are you talking about taking me on? We're only engaged.
Look, if you've got half an hour to spare sometime, come down to the house and I'll fill you in on some of his muckier domestic habits. That way it won't come as such a shock to you.
Well, I think I'll find out for myself. Thank you very
I'll
much.
be sorry. Hey, Mr. Tatler, what do you think about this, then?
What's that?
Well, it's Len and Rita here. She's finally nailed him down to pop in question.
Oh, you lot make it sound like a manhunt summit.
Isn't that where the phrase came from?
Well, I suppose you both of you turned 21. I reckon you know what you're doing.
How do you mean?
Well, I mean, well, it's important, isn't it, to know what you're doing? Otherwise, you might start something you can't finish, if you know what I mean.
I'm not sure I do, Mr. Tatlock, and I'm not sure I want to either.
You know, that cup of tea I poured out for you half an hour ago must be as cold as a rubbing stone step by now. You know, it's too dear nowadays to waste his milk and sugar.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ina. It's my stomach. It feels all bubbly inside.
I wish you'd said before I poured it. You know, the longer you leave it, the harder it'll get to tell him.
It were right what you said, wasn't it, about us getting $7.75 each, as long as we're on our own. Only $12.50 between us if we get married.
Certainly it's right.
You sure?
Certainly I'm sure.
I don't think I should be so backward in coming forward if it hadn't all happened to him before. Only he got left waiting at the church the last time, you know.
Yes, but that doesn't count. That was the parson who's never turned up. Anyhow, he's not at the church yet, anything like.
No, but it's the same thing.
It's nothing like the same thing yet, but it will be if you don't stir yourself. Look here, Minnie Colwell, are you or are you not going to wed that old gas bag?
Oh, no, Ina, not if what you say is true. Albert Tatlock is a luxury I really cannot afford. Besides...
Besides what?
I don't really like him.
Right. Get your coat on.
Why, where are we going?
We're going to find him, and you are going to tell him. And if you won't tell him, I will.
Why do I do it, Betty? That's what I want to know.
Why do you do what?
Come down here day after day and dedicate myself to bringing a bit of light and joy into the poor, miserable lives of this lot.
Could it be anything to do with them green crinkly things, do you think? You know, them things Mrs. Walker stuffs in your wage packet every Friday.
Do you know, I never thought of that.
Excuse me. Mrs. Walker in, please.
Oh, she's just gone through to it back, love. Are you sure there's nothing we can do?
No, thanks. I'd like a word with her, please.
Mr.
Draper.
Would you like a drink while you're waiting?
No, thanks.
Hey, can we have some service down this end of the bar, please, Betty?
Did you say something?
Yeah, you wouldn't happen to have your best bottle of champagne on ice by any chance, would you?
What a pity you didn't mention it about 5 minutes since. I've just let Albert Tatler have the last
You
half a
can't
dozen
win them
bottles.
all, can you?
What are you celebrating?
It's not so much of a celebration, really, Betty. It's more of a wake. Farewell to freedom, you know.
Hey, watch it, Fairclough.
Hey, is it you and him?
Well.
Oh, I am glad. Congratulations to you both.
Thank you.
Well, come on then.
What?
Let's have a look. What? Shows your ring.
Oh, well, we haven't actually got round to getting one of them yet, have we?
No, not yet.
No. We had thought of popping into town later on this afternoon to see what there was, hadn't
Yes, we did. As a matter of fact, I thought of writing to Elizabeth Taylor for that big one of hers, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she said she was keeping it for her next husband.
Ah, yeah, well, she would, wouldn't she?
Oh,
Yeah.
Give us a large scotch, will you, love?
Yeah.
A large vodka and lime.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Hey, we'd better make sure we get out of here before the banks close, hadn't we?
We will, won't we?
Are you really going to buy me a ring?
I've got no flipping choice, have I?
You wanted to see me, I believe, Mr. Draper.
That's right.
Well,
You let me down, didn't you? Not that I didn't think you'd do anything else.
I let you down.
You said you'd tell him I wanted to see him.
But I did tell him you wanted to see him.
How comes he hasn't been in touch?
I really have no idea. He has been very busy.
Oh, yes.
No, he really has been very busy these last few days, Mr. Draper. However, I'm expecting him back to lunch quite soon. So, if you care to wait a few minutes, then you can see him for yourself.
Thank you.
Well,
He's not in, is he, Ina?
no, but we know where he'll be. We'll go round and see him there.
Oh, Ina, we can't do that. We can't walk out without having a drink when we've only just come in.
Hello? Remember me?
Hello?
You got my message. I wanted to see you.
Yeah, I was going to get in touch this afternoon.
So bad.
It's about the car, right?
That's right.
Yeah, well, I'll be back in the garage about 2 o'clock, so if you put you down then, all right?
Not all right, no.
Look, I've just had a hard morning's work. I'm cold and I'm starving, so if you don't mind...
£1,100 I paid you for that car. £1,100? You know how long it takes a bloke like me to save £1,100?
Yes, well, if you want the best things in life, you've got to be prepared to pay for them, haven't
It
you?
wasn't the best, was it? Anything but.
Fetch Mrs. Walker, quick.
£400 they told me that was worth. 400 for 1,100.
Who said?
I took it to this garage, right? Just for a service, right? They rang me, asked me to come in. So how much did you pay for this load of old coppers, they said. They had a good laugh when I told them.
Yes, well, we'll talk about it down the garage, all right?
I'm only telling you what they told me. They said it must have been wrapped around a tree or something at some time. An insurance write-off, only somebody had put all the bits and pieces together again.
Yeah, well, it's their word against mine, so what?
They broke it down for me. You want to read what they said?
No, thanks.
But I've got the car outside.
Look at the
Come
garage, all right? Not here now. Get off my back. Just get out of my way.
£1,100! On the drain.
Mr. Draper, do you have the keys of this vehicle with you at the moment?
Yes.
Well, then, kindly give them to me. And also that document that you spoke of.
What then?
Well, I will speak to Billy about it. And I give you my personal assurance that my son will examine that vehicle in any sort of detail you wish to specify.
All right.
Thank you. And now, if you're quite finished, and you obviously do not intend to buy a drink, may I suggest that you leave? Well, do please continue drinking, ladies and gentlemen. The show is quite over.
Aye, but how much longer will it be, I wonder?
What?
Till they start taking in again. For the second house.
Here's a box to put that lot in. Thank you.
Bad idea, isn't it?
You'll need to watch the bottom. It's liable to collapse on you.
Looking at this lot, it's not the only thing that's going to collapse.
No more news of the phantom brick thrower, then?
No.
I've heard something.
Oh?
Yeah, from Alf. Apparently he was talking to a couple of girls from the factory.
Oh, did they see something then?
No, but they think one of their mates might have. Apparently she works next to one of the windows that overlooks the street, on this side, you know. And she reckons she saw a woman hanging about just before the window went.
Woman? That's a new one.
Isn't it, though?
Well, there's no reason why it shouldn't have been a woman, I suppose.
No.
Well, woman or man, I hope she's feeling very pleased with herself this morning.
How do you mean?
Well, I mean, it's not the sort of thing you're going to boast to your grandchildren about, is it?
It was a gesture, of course. Her form of personal protest, presumably.
Look, if you're going to protest, you're going to stand up and protest. And chucking bricks through windows is about as noble a protest as writing anonymous letters.
Perhaps things didn't work out quite as she, or he, intended.
How do you mean?
Well, perhaps this person intended to stand and make her protest. And then when the deed was done, everything happened so quickly that the moment just seemed to slip away from her.
Well, it's a theory, I suppose. A bit novelettish for my money.
Why?
Well, you're attributing fineness of feelings to this character that she obviously doesn't have. I mean, the person you've described just doesn't go chucking bricks through windows, does she?
Are you all right for tonight, then?
Well, what's on tonight?
Oh, a bit of a celebration, you know, in here from 8 o'clock onwards.
What? Try and keep me away. Is it free ale all night tonight, then?
You might get a round out of me, yeah. Are you on?
Well, we're here whether we like it or not, but thanks very much anyway.
You're welcome.
Oh, my Cyril will get him to come over.
Well, tell him he'd better bring his wallet, then, if this fella's in chair.
Yeah, cheeky. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, mate.
You do have those keys with you, do you, Billy?
No.
I gave that man my word.
Yeah, well, it wasn't yours to give, was it, Mum? Now, look, I don't come in here and tell you how to run your pub, do I? So let's come to the same arrangement, shall we, about my garage?
More coffee?
Not for me, no thanks.
Only me.
Hello.
Oh, I'll do.
Want a cup of coffee?
No, thank you.
Oh, how are you, then?
I'm all right. I've got something to tell you.
Oh, yes? Oh, what's that, then?
I'm getting wed.
What?
I'm getting wed at Easter.
Who to?
Minnie Caldwell.
Oh, how long's this been going on?
Oh, some weeks now.
You never told us.
No, well, nobody knows yet. Except you two. And Nina Sharples, of course.
Well, how did all this come about, then?
Well, it's a long story, really.
It has to be.
Yeah, and it's as much your doing as anybody's.
Our doing?
Yeah. You see, I know that you two and me were not properly related, but on the other hand, you're the only bit of family I've got round here.
Oh, go on.
And when you said that you were thinking about leaving the district, well, I didn't know what to do. And I mean, I'm not getting any younger. She's on her own, and I'm on my own.
Oh, I see. A marriage of convenience.
Yeah, I suppose you could call it that. What's wrong with it?
You don't know?
Well, I don't see anything wrong with it. Not at our age.
Oh, that's all right then, isn't it?
You don't think it's a good idea?
Well, it's none of my business, is it?
Now, look, I'm asking you, do you or do you not think that I am making a mistake?
Do you really want to know what I think, straight from the shoulder?
Yeah.
Right, well, I think you are out of your tiny minds, the two of you.
You do you?
Look, Uncle, you're lonely, right?
Right.
The pension's pathetic, so it's cheaper to run one house instead of two.
Right.
All right, well, be together, run one house, but don't go dragging marriage into it.
Hey, I hope you're not suggesting that we live over the brush.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Uncle Albert, you're both over 70. And it's 1974. All I'm saying is, if you two want to live together, then live together. But marriage is a different kind of animal.
Ken's right, Uncle Albert. When you marry somebody, it's got to be for better reasons than mutual convenience. Otherwise, you're asking for trouble, however old you are.
Oh, well, I suppose I asked for your opinion. I've got it, haven't I?
Were you asking for our opinion?
How do you mean?
I think what Ken means, Uncle Albert, is that if you need to ask somebody for an opinion about a thing like that, it's not really him you're asking, is it? It's yourself. Perhaps we shouldn't have said that. Not that strongly, anyway.
Why not? It was true.
Yes, but it wasn't really him we were talking about, was it? Either of us.
Let me get this straight so that I get it in my head. You're saying you're the one who chucked the brick through my window?
That's right.
You are pulling my leg.
For goodness sake, how many times do I have to say it? I was the one who did it. And I must say that, given the same circumstances, I would be the one quite likely to do it again.
Oh, I see. So you haven't come here to apologise?
Some sort of apology is called for, I suppose.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm glad you recognise the fact.
On the other hand, you must accept a large measure of responsibility for what happened yourself.
I must.
Well, not enough people in authority do these days. It's one of the things that's wrong with this country.
And what are we supposed to do? Go around telling people to break windows?
You, as a councillor, precipitated a chain of events that put me in a position where direct action was the only course left open to me. Surely you can see that.
Can I? Because like all that I saw was a broken window, a lot of broken glass all over my oilcloth.
If you'd attended just one meeting that we invited you to, if you hadn't taken such pains to give us all the impression that you were prepared to ride roughshod over us for personal gain, none of this would have happened. As it was, you brought me to a pass where I did something quite against the grain of my deepest beliefs, something totally repugnant to me.
Well, don't worry about it. There's only a pane of glass, wasn't it?
Oh, it's not just a pane of glass, is it? You made me feel defiled.
Well, I'm sorry if I've upset you, love. But don't worry too much about it. I mean, I laughed about it myself.
Oh, yes, well, of course, that was to be expected, wasn't it? I don't think there's anything quite as deeply shallow as the average male when it comes to things that really matter. What's going on over here, then? Oh, I'm sure Len will be only too glad to tell you, and you can both have a good laugh about it. Well?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Honest.
It's only me.
And there was me thinking it was Raymond Navarro.
Are you all right?
Yes, thank you. Where are you going, Nina?
I'm going to corner shop.
Oh, I'll come with you.
You've got company.
Oh, but there's something I want myself from the shop.
I'll get it for you. What is it?
Oh, it's gone right out of my head.
Yes, well, when it comes back to you, you can tell me all about it, can't you?
I've made some tea. Would you like a cup?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
I see they've got engaged.
Oh.
Len and Rita.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Must be something in the air this year.
Aye.
They couldn't really say.
What?
Well, when the happy day was going to be.
Oh.
I expect it'll be sometime in the springtime.
Aye.
I always enjoyed springtime weddings.
Aye.
You see, it's little things like that that have helped me to make up my mind.
What?
Well, the way you pour your tea into your saucer when it's too hot.
Well, what's wrong with supping out of a saucer?
Well, there's nothing wrong with it. Only, oh, that would get on my nerves if I had to have it at every meal time.
Have you got something to tell me?
Yes, Albert, I'm afraid I have.
Well, if you've got something to say, spit it out instead of rabbiting on about nothing.
I am not rabbiting on about nothing, Albert. I am definitely rabbiting on about something.
What?
Our future life together. I don't think we got one.
Since when?
Well, since I realised that we didn't have to.
What makes you think we ever did have to?
Well, at one time it looked as though we'd have to when we was on our own. Only now we're not on our own anymore, are we? You've got Ken and Janet, and I've got Ina. And somehow I can't see you living very happily with me and Ina.
Well, what makes you think I'm planning to?
Well, I hope you weren't thinking of turning her out on the street.
Well, she'll have to make her own arrangements, won't she? I mean, we can't have her living with us.
Well, I think then we've had a very lucky escape, me and Ina.
But do you mean it's all off? Right?
Right.
Right, well, I'll tell you something then. I'm very glad.
Oh, I'm very glad you're glad.
Yeah, and if you must know, that's what I come round here to tell you.
Oh, well, then you've been sucked, haven't you? Because I said it first.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something else for note and all. I don't pour that tea into saucer because it's too hot.
Oh, don't you?
No, it's because it's that blooming weak it can't get out a cup any other road.
You are? Oh, get away with your bother. Of course you can come, it'll take you out of yourself with a bit of a do. Now listen, Cyril, I don't care what you say, you're coming here. So get up them stairs, get yourself washed and changed, and get yourself over here. I'll save the first foxtrot for you. All right, love? Right. Hey, get your skates on.
Do you like it, then?
Lovely. Matches your eyes.
Can I ask you a straight question, woman to woman?
Of course you can.
How do you get a fella to put one of them on your finger? Between you and me, I was beginning to wonder myself. Hello, love.
Hello.
Oh, you made it. Smash.
Hello. Any chance of giving the bride a kiss?
Now, don't you be saying things that'll put him off. Just as a matter of interest, have you fixed the date yet? One step at a time, love, one step at a time.
Hello.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Glover.
Albert hasn't come in with you then?
No, I haven't seen him since tea time, as a matter of fact. Why, were you expecting him?
Oh, no, anything but, actually.
Oh, how come?
Only, you see, I'm afraid I've upset him.
Oh?
Only, you see, we was planning to get married, and then I had to tell him I couldn't go through with it after I'd heard what Ina told me.
And what did Ina tell you?
Well, it's something that you told her, I think, about how it would affect my pension.
Oh.
Well, you going to have a drink?
Oh, I might as well, seeing as nobody else seems to be offering.
Mr. Sharples?
Oh, hello.
Can you spare a minute?
Yes, sit down.
Oh, thank you. I think I owe you an apology.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you know that the wedding's off between Uncle Albert and Minnie Corwell?
That's right.
Yeah, well, I gather that one of the main reasons was that Mrs. Corwell thinks she'd take a cut in her pension if she went through with it.
That was one of the reasons, yes.
And you told her that?
As you told me.
Well, I think you misunderstood me.
Oh?
Yeah, I was talking about the majority of pensioners. I mean, it certainly wouldn't apply to Minnie Corwell. That £12.50 rate only applies to a wife who wouldn't have qualified for a pension in her own right.
Oh. Oh, well, they say he works in a mysterious way, his wonders to perform.
Well?
Oh, no, not you again.
Your mother said if she left my keys with you, she'd have the car seen to.
Yeah, only she's not a motor mechanic, is she? She happens to be a licensed victualler. So, there's your keys. There's your little bit of paper. And your motor is outside where you've left it. So do us all a favor, will you, mate, and go and join in.
You haven't even looked at it.
I don't have to see it again. I've seen it before.
You know what you are, mate?
Listen, are you going to buzz off, or do I have to chuck you out? Because I'm warning you. If you don't go, you're going to have a broken neck within about 10 seconds.
I'm going. Don't worry, I'm going. But I'll be back. You can depend on that. And I'll keep coming back and back and back until you do something about that car you've lumbered me with.
Oh, Mrs.
Jerry,
Clark.
what the heck would you be wanting at this time of
Your
night?
Betty sent me over here.
For what?
For you.
Oh, yes, of course, it's party tonight, isn't
Oh,
it?
that's right.
You know, it won't clean out of me yet.
Well, come on, then. You come in.
No, I don't think I'll bother, Jerry. I'm not at this time.
Well, what time? The night's young yet.
No, thanks, honest. I'm not really in the mood.
Well, what's that got to do with it? I mean, a party's just the thing to get you in the mood.
Well, it's nearly 10:30.
Look, Mrs. Walker's got a pile of sandwiches that high. She's got them in the back room. She's going to kick all the foreigners out, and we're all going in there for a right knees-up.
You know, you just won't take no for an answer, will you?
No. No, I'm sorry, Mrs. Clegg, I won't.
You never said you were leaving?
Well, you seem to be rather heavily engaged. Everywhere I wasn't. Good night.
All right.
It's all right, Mrs. Clegg, I'll get it.
Thank you.
Oh,
Is Mrs. Clegg in, please?
Yeah, come in.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Clegg.
Hello.
I am right in saying you're Cyril Turpin's sister-in-law?
Oh, yes, yes.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news for you, Mrs. Clegg. He collapsed tonight outside his house.
No.
I'm afraid by the time the ambulance got there, it was too late. They rung us at the station, asked us to come round. But rather than us tell Mrs. Turpin, the inspector thought it might be easier coming from you.